This is a special presentation from UFC Fight Pass. Step into our world at UFCFightPass.com.
Las Vegas, Nevada was rocking and rolling tonight as we were inside T-Mobile Arena. Extra Rounds is live once again. We are powered by DraftKings Sportsbook, and my goodness, we're hitting all sorts of graphics. We got to do big things tonight because we had an epic show. It's Extra Rounds. Hey, everybody, TJ DeSantis along with Jason Anik, Belal Muhammad, Don Frye, the King, Callum Walsh. It wouldn't be a trip to Las Vegas if we didn't talk to the King, Callum Walsh, who was hanging out with the beautiful people tonight. You were hanging out with like billionaires tonight, buddy.
Was it?
Yeah.
I was actually. Yeah.
You were, yeah. You know, he just randomly forgets who's hanging out with billionaires.
I was getting greased up.
What a life. And what a night it was, guys.
Oiling me up, yeah.
I mean, that's not a lie. Go on to Instagram and check it out. But let's start from the top. Phenomenal night of action. We see Poetan put Jamal Hill to sleep, and it wasn't sweet dreams for the former UFC light heavyweight champion. You know, we talked a lot about what we would expect, from Jamal Hill after this long layoff and the injury. And guys, I hate to say it, not to take anything away from what we saw from the Brazilian and Pereira, but we didn't really get to see much from Jamal Hill. He didn't have much to do with anything tonight. Short, sneaky little uppercut. Let's start with the boxer. What do you think of that uppercut that ended the night for Jamal Hill?
It was a good shot, but that's his shot. I seen him. He was jabbing the body, trying to get the hand down. And I said it to Tabitha. I said he's jabbing the body. He wants me to drop the hand. And he's gonna come up top, and he did it. And that's the shot. If you get hit with that, it doesn't matter. He's knocking everybody out with that shit. If you get hit with that, you're going to sleep. Yeah,
he's got all these tools in the toolbox, which is why we've been able to see him rise the ranks in such a short amount of time that he has. And, Jason, he wants us to fight a heavyweight now. We just saw him the middleweight champion. He's a light heavyweight champion. Can you even wrap your mind around a possible heavyweight title fight?
No, and the guy was competing in the LFA in 2020. It's just a blink. This guy's a UFC Hall of Famer. He's had, 9, 10 fights, 11, 12 fights. Just unbelievable. But Jamal Hill didn't quite look, like we never really saw anything. The footwork seemed okay. The Achilles looked okay. But I thought we'd see a much more aggressive right out of the gate, sort of to maybe catch Alex sort of trying to settle in. But nothing. Alex is just a legend, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And that punch, Belal, it didn't look like it had a ton of power on it, but when it connects and hits the right spot, you're done.
Yeah, just rewatching all of Poetan's fights, right? A lot of his stuff there's not a lot of wind-up in any of his stuff. It's just hooks catching you from weird spots, weird angles. But like Callum said, he was setting up that jab to the body perfectly. He does that all the time, and he did that with Strickland too, where he went jab to the body. And I thought he wasn't going to be able to catch Jamal because Jamal's a southpaw, and he's usually backing out pretty fast. But I think Jamal just couldn't get his feet under him. He was starting a little bit slow. Sometimes when you are out for a while, and I think Jamal came in a little bit emotional. You saw him before the fight. He was standing at the cage waiting for him as Poetan was walking in, and I felt like, when you do fight with emotion and you're normally a guy that's more calm, cool, and collective. I was in the locker room with Jamal before for one of his fights, and he's just chilled, just dancing like he's not about to fight. This one, it seemed like he was a lot more emotional, like it was a bigger thing, right? The moment was huge for him, and I think the nerves got to him a little bit, and I think he needed the second or third round to loosen up a bit. But Poetan's too good. Yeah,
if there's a silver lining, I think, for Jamal Hill, he's probably not too injured, can probably have a somewhat decent turnaround time and come back and try to continue his run. Don Frye, you're a Hall of Famer. I think Alex Pereira has done a lot in a short amount of time here in the UFC to make it claim that he will one day be in the Hall of Fame. In your opinion, watching Alex Pereira and the way he worked tonight and the way he's operated in this short amount of time in his UFC run, what are your biggest takeaways from the Brazilian?
He did a great job. He looked like back in the 90s, Canada had a boxer named Razor Ruddock, heavyweight, and he would come in with this left hook, which was like an uppercut hook. It's just really weird to see, and looks like Alex is copying that.
Yeah, Callum, talk about Pereira's punching style, because he has that kickboxing background, but the dude's a pure puncher.
Yeah, that's the same kind of thing that I do when I throw my hooks too. Instead of throwing it straight across, if somebody dips down, I kind of throw it it's a better way to throw a hook. You throw it up. So if they dip down and you meet them, or if they pull away, it still kind of, it still catches them. So he has a good technique for it. the man has the power in the hands too. You know, if you get hit by that, it's lights out.
Yeah, didn't Roy Jones Jr. used to have what is it, like a rooster hook or that way? Yeah, it would just come from a weird angle, and most guys are usually just keeping their hands up like this, so it comes from the inside angle, and I just think he just has bricks in his hand, right?
Yeah.
Poatan
He has the stones tattooed in the hand.
yeah. And I was sitting next to Christian McCaffrey, and I was like, "Who you going with?" He said, "Bro, I don't know, but just based off of that walkout, I'm going with this guy. I don't know." That song just got me scared.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's a terrifying guy to be in his sights, and we saw that once again.
It was sort of a weird moment, though, and you do see sometimes in MMA fights, whether it's like an accidental eye poke or something, but something happened real quick where Jamal was almost like checking, like, "You all right? You all right?" And then it's like, "What, you guys chilling?" And then the next thing you know, he's up against the fence. It's over. So I understand maybe the hands was dropping and he was setting it up with a jab, but it was almost like a little bit of a pause in the action that led to the end for me.
That throws off the rhythm, right? And then if the ref's thinking he's about to stop it, so you're expecting him to stop it, and then the ref's like, "Oh, you're good, you want to go," and then it just like throws off everything. Any little changes, right? Anything can happen in a fight that throws your whole fight off.
Yeah, mentally you have to say sort of in the moment, regardless of what decisions are made. And I remember, Don, I think you had a fight with Gilbert Ivel that had a bunch of eye pokes, and you won that night, I think, via disqualification. But what is your mindset when things are going wacky and you don't know if the referee necessarily sees it the right way?
You just got to stay in there. If a fighter complains, he's out of the fight. It's over. Because you've got to keep your mind inside the cage, inside the ring, and once you just remove yourself, even for a split second, you're done.
Yeah,
You're done.
Yeah, absolutely. A guy that rolled with a lot of punishment tonight and was game until literally the very end when Max Holloway shut his lights off was Justin Gaethje. I don't know how to even talk about this, guys, because this was pure magic. This was everything you love about combat sports. And after basically 24 minutes and 45 seconds, Max Holloway says, "You know what? It's the BMF championship. Let's stand in the center of this octagon. It's UFC 300. Let's throw." Gaethje was game. He did it, and ultimately ended up going face first on the mat. I had to take my tie off. I had to almost go tarpless, as the guys on the show know I've been likely to do in the past, because the heat and energy in here, guys, got insane. Callum Walsh, your thoughts on the timbering Justin Gaethje to the mat?
That's what it's all about. It's UFC 300. BMF title, two men have to go in there and just fight it out. If somebody gets knocked out, like what happened, who cares? You're fighting for the BMF and you're fighting for this many people that have paid to come and see you fight. You have to go in there and just do it. If you get knocked out, there's no shame in getting knocked out in a fight like that. And that's what they did. It's entertaining. That's what people pay and come and see, and that's what should have happened. They should have stood there and someone was supposed to get knocked out.
Looking at this fight, I talked about the adversity that Gaethje really had to go through. It was the end of the first round, I think, where it was that spinning back kick that caught him in the nose, busted his nose. He never breathed again the same throughout the fight. And then it was just little things, more and more things that Max was doing to make Gaethje uncomfortable. Justin did rally later in the fight, but Holloway was obviously out in front, in line to win a decision. But that's the thing, too. I credit Gaethje for, agreeing to stay in the middle. But Belal, everything could have gone sideways for Holloway if it was Gaethje that landed clean. He's the baddest. He's also the ballsiest in a lot of ways.
100%. I think we just got to erase that bracket earlier. Holloway's the winner, right? That's a true BMF. And his manager was sitting near me, and it was 1 minute left, and his manager's like, "You better not point to the middle. You better not point to the middle." And all of a sudden, he points to the middle with 10 seconds left. It just shows you what type of fighter Holloway is. He just loves to fight, and all the talk before the fight of, "Oh, Gaethje's gonna knock him out. Why is Holloway going up? He's too big for him. He's do this." Holloway fought a perfect fight, and he's showing, his last two fights, 2 knockouts that, he still has power. People always say that, Holloway's done. He's been through this many wars. He's on his way out. But, bro, he's always he's rejuvenated. I see a new guy every time.
Yeah, this sport's just unbelievable. You can lose to Volk 3 times, right? And then be so firmly in the mix after one night like this. I just still can't believe we're sitting here trying to talk about the main event. It's that fight happened. I can't talk about anything else. I can't think about anything else. I think we were all just sort of in a daze during the co-main event. Just seeing Justin Gaethje flat with 1 second on the clock, flat like that, you just don't see that very often. However, that's what we sort of show up to these. That's what I'm waiting for.
Right.
That's why I'm sitting in that seat sort of hoping for. Not necessarily for Justin Gaethje to be that guy,
Right.
but we're looking for these moments.
It's the video game moments. It's the movie moments that get us back time and time again on Saturday nights for fights. And I think about the final sequence there that Holloway invited Gaethje to the center of the octagon. It reminds me about this fight with two guys in Japan. One was this guy, Don Frye. The other was Yoshihiro Takayama. What is it about that moment, Don, that makes you basically just ignore all human instinct of, I'm going to go and stand in front of this guy? Yeah, why? How does that happen? How does it come about?
I don't know. It's just a dick measuring contest. Get out there and see who's got one and who doesn't.
I guess.
You get the biggest set of balls. You just you get excited and you fall for stupid stuff.
What do you like more, being in the moment where you're throwing the punches or watching what we saw tonight in that fight?
Well, I mean, depends on what age you're talking to.
There you go. That's true.
But I feel for Gaethje, man. It's like he didn't really I didn't feel like we really got to see Gaethje. All the glory to Holloway. Couldn't have been more impressed. But Gaethje, at the start of round 2, there was just a different dude. Just wasn't there.
Yeah. Hopefully, and that's the thing too. Like we talk about Gaethje, like he was in line to lose a decision. He gets stopped, but the damage is real. That's a real knockout. That's one that hopefully he responds well from. But what do you do if you're Max Holloway? The answer is anything you want,
right?
Honestly, like. We were talking about him at lightweight. It's not his first foray at 55. He took care of the number 2 ranked guy in the hierarchy. Ilia Topuria was here. Like, give me that fight. Was it just me, or did Topuria realize the situation that was in front of him? I don't think he's afraid of Max Holloway by any means, but I think that he saw what Max Holloway can do. And if that guy's in your weight class, you're going to approach it with not fear, not hesitancy, but caution, to say the least.
No, I mean, I think Topuria, first of all, people are looking at Topuria he looked like he's seen a ghost. But I was just watching him the whole time, and he didn't realize the camera was on him.
Right.
He's paying attention. He's like, man, who's booing? And then he looked up, oh, I'm up. He's like, oh, I'm the one getting booed? What the heck? But, the crowd loves Max Holloway. I think whatever he chooses to do, they're going to accept. UFC wants to give him the biggest opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And there's a little bit back and forth with him and Islam. I'm liking that, going back and forth a little bit. And I think that'll be a fun fight. But for him, I don't think he wants to cut any weight, right? Like, if I'm out, I just beat Justin Gaethje, who everybody said was the number 1 contender at lightweight. Why would I just stay up here? And if I do end up losing to Islam, I'll go back down to 45, and that's my original weight class. I could just do that.
Yeah. We've got the king here. If you were the king of the world, Callum Walsh, the MMA world, and we're the matchmaker, what would you do with Max Holloway? What would you like to see from the Blessed One?
I want to see him fight Topuria, right?
Yeah?
I want to see that fight.
That boxing would be so good.
Two big punches, 2 good boxers too. Yeah, it'd be like a boxing fight. They would stand and fight each other, and that's where Islam. If he fights Islam, it's just gonna be a bit of wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd probably be a good fight, but Islam's just gonna try to take him down, and I want to see 2 boys stand and fight each other. And Max will. You've seen it, So that's the fight I want to see: 2 boys standing and fighting each other.
I mentioned you're the king of our MMA world right now in this scenario. There's a lot of bonus money to be thrown around. If you were writing the checks, who's walking out with $300,000 tonight?
Holloway is definitely walking away with it. 100%. He's walking away with it. Now, if I was writing the checks, I'm writing it to myself. For being there. No, Max Holloway is...
I was a good fan today. I was watching because I was watching perfectly.
Put it myself.
You're fighting for your own money here soon enough. You just got a win in Madison Square Garden a few weeks back, and sounds like you're back in action in June?
Yeah, in June. Yeah, I think so, anyway. That's the plan. June.
Back to the West Coast, though.
Yeah, back to LA in June, and get this one in June in LA out of the way, and then I want to go to Ireland. I want to go to Ireland. I want to fight back home for my own people. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do, but I want to fight. Yeah, one more fight now in LA. Get this one out of the way, defend my belt once, and then take it back to Ireland, take it back to my home country.
Have you talked to your promoter, Tom Loeffler? Is that a real possibility to get that in the fight after this next one?
I thought we were going to do it. I thought we were going to go there for my next fight, but obviously it's a hard thing to do, to put on a show in Ireland. So we're going to just keep the show on the road here now, because I don't want to wait a long time either. I don't want to be out for a couple of months while I'm waiting for them to plan a show in Ireland. So we just take this fight in LA and just fight. I don't care. I'll fight every week. I come out of my fights uninjured, really. So I'm not really marked up or touched or anything. So yeah, I'll just fight in LA and go maybe June, July, and then go to Ireland. I don't know how many times, but I'm going to fight June 7th in Los Angeles.
And when are you going to look into the opponent? Like a couple days before, a couple hours before? Because this guy, if you don't know, Callum Walsh has been shining on UFC Fight Pass. Like, he's the most nonchalant about whoever is standing in his way. You just, you got a job to do. You go take care of it. You don't really worry with the pleasantries.
Yeah, I don't care who I fight. I look into him. I'll figure him out after the first round. I'll try it. Well, I'll try it, and if I don't, I'm going to lose. So that's what me and Dan were just saying there a while ago. I'm going to have to fight him anyway. It's like
better fight them all.
I have to fight them all anyway. So no point looking into him. I'll just try to figure it out after a couple of rounds, and if I don't, I don't.
Were you a tape study guy, Don?
No, they didn't have tapes on my guy.
Did they make illustrations?
If they did their actual tapes, the old VHS
Right.
tapes, a block about that big.
Yeah, I mean, the glory days of Don Frye. If you don't know, Pride, available. It's Pride Never Die Month. You can go check that out at any time on UFC Fight Pass. And if you missed tonight, I don't know what to tell you. If you missed UFC 300, there's still more to talk about, Jason. What do you want to make sure we get to on extra round?
Well, I have to just say the co-main event was really an interesting fight for me, and I know maybe we could let that one go, but really impressively, Yan Xiaonan really being put to sleep almost at the end of the first round, coming back and having a lot of moments. I think Wei Li showed a little bit of vulnerability, but ultimately Wei Li you give her 25 minutes, she's going to do what she needs to do in whatever realm, whether it's on the floor or up top, but I was impressed with both of them, and Yan Xiaonan deserved that spot. She's going to be a problem moving forward, I think, still.
And it's interesting because you talk about her basically being put to sleep. She had her best moments of the fight after that. You can say that being put to sleep kind of woke her up in a roundabout way. And, it was a solid night for Zhang Wei Li, but there were moments we were talking, Jason, where, it was dominant, but she still looked fallible at times. There were times where, she kind of got off her game and let Yan back into it. Belal, your thoughts on, Zhang Wei Li? Did she take her foot off the gas pedal, in your opinion?
I think you have a little bit of an adrenaline dump, right? When you think, I have this choke locked in, it's over, right? I'm putting it all into there, and you're like, it's about to be over, and then all of a sudden, the ref doesn't stop it. You see her wobbling a little bit, and then, second round comes, you think, I'll just get right back to it. Then all of a sudden, you get hit a little bit, you get rocked. I think she just took her foot off the gas a little bit, left a little bit too many sloppy openings, and then she realized, all right, I got to take her down. I just got to control her on the ground. That's my easiest path to victory. But her grappling keeps getting better every single fight. She's growing every single fight as a martial artist. And she had a couple of tight submissions. Yan is just a beast. She had so much heart, right? There was no give up in her at all.
Right, thumbs up, and then I'm going to go to sleep, and then I'm still going to somehow
It's crazy. This is the only sport where literally you can be put unconscious and then come back and, almost win a fight, too.
Yeah, and I was sitting with Joe Benavidez, and he's asking me, I fucking know. But, at the end of the first round, when something like that happens, where she's unconscious, is there, what's the protocol?
You let her get back up. The referee, I think it was Jason Herzog, he gave a look. I called a fight a couple years ago where the end of the fight happens, it's a 15-minute fight, and one of the athletes is asleep. Not no argument, she's asleep. But the referee didn't call a halt to the fight before the bell rang. So when the bell rang, the judges filled out the scorecards, and the athlete that was asleep, she got her hand raised. She won. It's crazy.
Didn't Marab's fight with, that happened like that too, right? Ricky Simone.
Yeah.
He lost. Yeah. He was out. You thought he was out. He wasn't out. And
if it happens at the end of a round and there's another round, it's over, you know. But if it's the end of the fight, you can still essentially win a decision, I guess. But, I don't know. It was crazy business. Crazy business. We talk about thinking a fight is over and then finding out that it's not. We saw that in the Renato Moicano and Jalen Turner fight. I don't know if it was Turner trying to fish for, a walk-off type of knockout, but he disengaged after dropping Moicano, and it's the money man from Miami who gets the last laugh, and guys, he can't afford to lose.
Well, your boy Ignacio Bahamondes, a couple weeks back when he had the head kick knockout and didn't follow up. A little bit of a different situation. Dude was out cold on the ground.
Right.
Renato, scampered pretty quickly, but certainly no killer instinct.
Yeah, I don't think Moicano's back of his head hit the mat even. He was kind of. Don't get me wrong, he was hurt, but the fight wasn't out of him yet, and you got to keep going.
That reminds me of the Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards, the finger pointing at him. I'm like, bro, go for the finish. You have him right now. And Jalen had 15 extra seconds that he didn't do absolutely nothing with. He let him back up, and I don't know. It was one of those moments for Jalen where I think he's going to look back at it bro, why did I do that? I had this fight, and his trajectory would have went through the roof.
Well, he got
like that
taken
on
down,
300.
and he was a much different fighter after that. Like, I mean, mentally, like, it was just done, I
Yeah,
think.
well, you're not 6'3" when you're lying on your back, you know? And I don't know if he's counting that $300,000 after seeing Moicano hit the mat. But Moicano's tough, man. Happy for that kid.
As a tall guy who's only got height going for him, you're still 6'3" when you're on your back. Letting you know. So,
How tall was Holly Holmes, huh?
Oh,
Kayla
man.
Harrison.
yeah, Kayla arrived in a style that, I mean, I'm not going to lie, guys. Like, she rejuvenated this division, and a lot of talk about what could be next for her. You know, it's been a long time coming. You draw it up. Like, obviously, this is a game that you prepare for physically in the gym, but mentally, when you get done, Belal, I'm sure you've, you know, envisioned this thing getting wrapped around your waist a million times. When you draw it up, I don't know if you can draw it up quite as well as it actually turned out for Kayla Harrison. She did end up on bottom in a scramble, which is a little bit weird considering, you know, she's the grappler taking on the elite level striker. But short of that, she had fun out there.
Yeah, and she had so much pressure on her, right? She was
Yes.
coming down 2 weight classes. People were saying, you know, she was coming from PFL. They weren't good over there. She's going to get beat up over here. Holly Holmes did it to Ronda Rousey. She's going to do it to you. You're a judoka. But she dominated.
Yeah.
In every aspect of the fight. And her striking looked good. She looked confident in there. Her strength, she looked like she was like 2 times stronger than anything Holly Holm could do. Holly Holm could do absolutely nothing. She had that little scramble, but I think it was, you know, nothing to Kayla. Kayla just got right back on top of her, hit her with some hard ground and pound. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear her on the mic. I'm excited to see who they match her up against because she has a personality, right? She's
Yeah.
going to bring energy to this division that's kind of like trying to figure out what's going to happen next for the champion or the contenders.
More elbows, too. I mean, her
Yeah.
elbows were on point. And she's a type of athlete that can sit in the closed guard and still throw elbows. Not a lot of people can do that. If Callum Walsh throws elbows like that, he'll get disqualified. Don't throw those.
That's Dana for a contract, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. You've alluded to the fact that you're messing around with a little MMA. Like, you don't have to go into great detail. I know you're focused on boxing, but, I mean, you feel confident in your ground and pound game where it's at right now? No. Okay. All right. He's honest. That's why we love him. That's why we love him.
No, I don't feel confident in it. No, I probably could do something right, but no, not yet. That's why I'm taking my time. You know, I'm taking my time. But I could do something right, but not much. I'd say.
How old were you when UFC 100 happened? I mean, what was that?
What year was
2007, 8?
7.
If
He
it's
was 7 years old.
2007, yeah, I was like I was 6.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't even know what fighting was.
All right, so, you know, a lot of talk about Jim Miller being on 100, 200, and 300. Maybe Callum Walsh on 400.
Let's go.
That's actually could be a fact too. So that's another about what 7 years away.
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah. I mean, you can go win all the titles in boxing in that time.
Boxing and 400. Yeah, I'm in for 400.
There we go.
And Michael Chandler McGregor is 600. Isn't it?
Chandler still be waiting.
Yeah.
I want to go down the line here as we start to head towards the door and put a bow on UFC 300. Callum, we'll start with you. You were, like I said, rubbing shoulders with billionaires down there with all the beautiful people, showing them what being a cut man, apparently. You were the dummy for applying Vaseline and all that. Look at it up on Instagram. But, you know.
Look at me. I was up here in the nosebleed section. I lost about a quart of blood from the atmosphere.
You know, you were with me. It was my wish to hang out with you. I made a wish.
You can't come to anyone who saw the pre-show. Don can't go to your house for dinner, but you're happy to hang out with him, watch him
we
fight.
bonded tonight,
All
you
right.
know?
So now he's allowed?
Yeah, I mean, maybe my badassery actually elevated a little bit. You know, maybe I'm not such afraid of BMS, you know?
I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what gave me the bloody nose. I'm up there, I'm asleep, and you're hitting me.
I'm like, now's my chance.
Yeah.
You know? What was your biggest takeaway, the thing you enjoyed the most, Callum, about UFC 300?
Just being here, you know, at UFC 300, you know, just the fact that I was able to sit down there and be here for this moment, you know, and the fact that I'm 23 years old, you know, the next 100 will be UFC 400, you know, I'll be about 28, 29, you know, so the fact that I'm 23 and I was able to just sit down there in the third row and watch UFC 300 is just an unbelievable.
Third row.
You
Jeez, I'm in row 300 up here.
Yeah, it was UFC 300.
300 for 300.
I can hear it now at the press conference. Callum Walsh going, Dana, you need to make these bonuses $400,000.
Yeah.
I do $400.
On the bonus front, just got word Gaethje and Holloway racking up fight of the night. Also performance bonus to Yuri Prochazka. Who else was it? Max Holloway walking away with $600K. So
600K.
he got 2 bonuses.
Good
Yeah.
job.
That is
Probably 7 figures to show up in the first place,
Oh,
too. So
dude.
he's
I
doing
mean,
all right.
It's a good night to be blessed.
600.
he's definitely
600.
blessed right now.
Yeah, he's the
That
baddest. He's the best. He's blessed. It's yeah. Don Frye.
Yep.
What'd you like the most about UFC 300?
The view is outstanding. I was up here, we're chasing Yetis and
Watching ants fight.
Yeah, I got hit by a satellite, on top of my head. Jesus, this is fantastic up here, man.
One of my favorite moments, Belal Muhammad holding up his phone. It said 301, 302, 303. You got a sense of humor in you, Belal.
I'm just calling it. Like, let me know when. Just send location, and I'm ready to go. I just hope that there's $300,000 bonuses wherever it's at. Yeah,
You missed out, man.
we're gonna ask Dana. He's like, bro, shut up.
Is that official? 303 official. Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor.
Wow,
Ooh.
that is huge.
303.
Makhachev Poirier, 302. And Strickland and Paulo Costa. I like that.
For 302.
Yeah. Is that 302? Okay. Perfect.
When's 302 and 303? When are they?
You got dates?
June 1st is 302.
May, New Jersey. June.
June 1st.
All right. Exciting. Those are good fights. Great fights. It's tough. It's tough to churn over the news cycle when you have a night like this. But Conor McGregor coming back.
How about Dustin Poirier last July getting head kick knockout by Justin Gaethje? You know what I mean? Fast forward 8-9 months later, fighting for the belt.
It's what have you done for me lately? And Poirier down in Miami had a hell of a night. That's what he's done lately. So, it's crazy.
You think about that moment, and then you think about Holloway's moment tonight. It's like you said, Holloway lost 3 times to Volkanovski. You're like, what's next for him? Poirier just got knocked out by Gaethje. You're like, what's next for him? But then 2 epic performances, and now they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean it's the ultimate meritocracy. You go out there and you shine in a bright way, and big crazy things come your way. Let's be honest, Don Frye's still a little upset that he didn't win all-time BMF award.
Damn right.
Let's take a look at the bracket one more time before we get out of here. Don Frye hanging out in the lower right-hand side of your bracket there, and the first matchup, a tough one, but he got it done. He got past Dan Henderson, and then ran into Nate Diaz, who went on an absolute tear. Nate Diaz meets Chuck Liddell in the semifinals, and then in the finale, he takes out Justin Gaethje. So tough night for Gaethje.
Right.
Oh, bro.
Yeah. And look at that, Max Holloway. He lost in the first round, but ultimately he gets the last laugh. So kind of crazy how that went.
600,000 of them,
Yeah, absolutely. I can't even count that high.
I'd be laughing my ass off.
Yeah. Your biggest takeaway?
For me, really, it was actually Kayla Harrison. When there was talk about her coming to the UFC back in the day, it was to face Amanda Nunes or a big. And had she come over to fight for the belt or whatever, it would have been a much bigger story.
Right.
And her coming over, it really wasn't that big a story. It's a big fish in a small pond. Then she comes here, and there wasn't that much around it. And like Belal said, I think there was a ton of pressure on her. Like you said, I think it revitalized the division. I'm just happy for her. She's a great person. I think she has a lot to give. I think she has a lot of improvement still to be had in the striking realm. But I like her injected into this promotion.
And Amanda was on social media with Kayla in the background on her TV going,
There we go.
What's up? So, yeah, there's a lot of angles. You don't know where it's going to go. It's exciting. And I don't know. I mean, size it up. How does Amanda look against Kayla? Have they ever trained together? They were in the same gym for the longest of times. Like, maybe they know a lot more than we know about how much they know about each other.
Yeah, well, a lot of retirements, and we're going to see Jose Aldo.
Everyone retires until they unretire. Bilal's retired right now.
It feels like it.
I know.
All these announcements. I'm sitting here. It's like that's the only name I'm looking for. Out of 301, 302. I didn't hear Bilal's name, so I wasn't really listening.
Yeah.
Get fired up here.
Callum Walsh is retired until June 7th. That's when he comes back. Don, you coming back anytime soon?
Yeah, only one who's retired more than me is Terry Funk.
Yeah, and I don't think he's coming back anytime
God
soon,
bless him.
unfortunately.
God bless
With the way you had to sit next to me all night, we might get a Don Frye Steve Coyne matchup before the night's over.
Yeah,
Producer
that's a
Steve.
possibility.
I mean, I'll pay for it. You going to be at the Hollywood Fight Nights coming up this Saturday, Callum?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah? Are you going to put you in the booth again?
I'll be everywhere.
You are
wherever they tell me to go. Wherever they tell me to go.
Awesome. All right, let's take a look at our odds, courtesy of DraftKings, to see how everything settled out. It was a night that there were some big, lines, and largely they lived up to them. Kayla Harrison was the biggest, but the second biggest was Zhang Weili. She closed a little bit closer to even, I guess, if you want to call it that. She was at minus 500. She closed at minus 455, lived up to those expectations, but Yan Xiaonan definitely a game opponent. Max Holloway closed at plus 185. He gets his hand raised in the biggest way possible. Oh, man, we didn't even talk about Arman in his big win. We got to hit that quickly on the way out. Belal Muhammad, the lightweight division, it's got Max Holloway, injected in the conversation, but we can't shut things down here in Vegas without talking about Arman.
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge performance for him.
Did you have it for him?
I had Arman winning. Yeah, I had Arman winning. I thought he won the second and third pretty handily. Oliveira went for that choke in the end there, but it was like the last 10 seconds. But Arman had some really good ground and pound. At the end of the second round, he split him open really bad. And even on the feet, he looked comfortable up there. He didn't look nervous. The first round, that guillotine was so tight.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, how is this guy still in there? He's getting out of his freaking shorts. And, he fought through it, got out. And I thought he fought the perfect fight against a guy like Charles Oliveira, who's been a champion, been in there with some of the best in the world. And Arman looked great.
But does Arman get out of that choke if the bell doesn't ring? That's my question. At the end of the fight.
Oh, at the end of the fight,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I mean, if there's.
Because to me, I think the worst for Charles Oliveira in that third round is a 10-10 round.
The one
I
for
think
me
he wins
is,
that round.
The one for me is the second round. If there's 10 more seconds in that second round, that triangle armbar.
Yeah, that was nice.
That
too.
one's catching him. I think the last one, the Anaconda, it was there, but I think the second round
Yeah.
was where I was like, whoa, what's going on
But for
there?
me, the way Arman defended, the way he fought it in the first round, it's like I would say none of those were going to finish him. Do you know what I mean? That dude is impressive physically.
And dude, you see him walking out where
Yeah.
he punched that. I was like, what happened here? Like these fans don't
That was
understand. Like
great,
these
though.
guys are. These Armenians are mean. Like they're not just like you can't just sit there and say what you want to them. Like, oh, what'd you say? All right, let me hit you right now.
Yeah, it's scary. You got to watch your P's and Q's. And I don't know. I mean, so I guess he went 2-0 on the night. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Callum Walsh, appreciate you stopping by. You're at more UFCs than Dana White somehow. I don't know how that works, but it's true. And we'll see you back in the Hollywood Fight Nights ring June 7th. And then maybe off to Ireland. I want to come to Ireland and see what it's all about.
Yeah, but nobody invited you.
Don Frye, you want to go to Ireland? Can you go to Ireland?
Not with you.
He's not allowed in.
Callum's going to be there.
Fight Liam Neeson.
Oh, man.
He'll come out of retirement.
Yeah, bring that sucker up. Boy.
Belal Muhammad, anything you want to say to the people besides you want to just nudge Leon one more time?
You guys are talking about going to Ireland. I'm trying to go to Manchester. That's the only place I'm trying to go. So hopefully that's where we'll be on.
You co-sign on that? I know that.
Oh, all day long. It's going to happen. We'll go in the belly of the beast. We'll take that will, take that strap, take those fans.
Take his heart.
All of it.
Oh, that's what a BMF would say. You are kind of a badass. All right. Want to thank everyone for joining us on this crazy week that was UFC 300. Phenomenal night from top to bottom. Definitely lived up and somehow even surpassed expectations. Go check it out if you missed it. If you missed anything that we did, it's archived everywhere. Go sign up for UFC Fight Pass. Do that. Real hardcore fans do that. So
Hey,
sign up
cheap
today.
bastards, it's only $10. Dude.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Skip a drink at the bar and enjoy the whole month.
it's true. So go do what Don Frye says, or he'll find you.
That's it.
Exactly.
Cheap.
For Don Frye, Callum Walsh, Belal Muhammad, Jason Anik, I'm TJ DeSantis. We'll see you next time for more extra rounds right here on UFC Fight Pass.